Hello, welcome to Cafecito Sin Mapa Unmapped Coffee Chats. I'm Jacqueline, your host, and today it's just me and I have no script. I literally don't even have my notebook, so we're just going to see what comes out in this recording. What have I been up to lately? Well, I've been at my new job for a little bit over a month now. I feel like I'm settling in finally. I'm like getting into the actual job instead of the onboarding process now. So it's been fun to like start taking on clients and doing just more of the actual work that I am planning or I'm supposed to be doing. So that's really exciting. And I've already started to make friends and like have people that I go to lunch with and things like that. So that's been really good. But I'll tell you, I've been working in the office 5 times a week, and that has been a huge transition for me as someone who was working from home and just like was working in my jammies and eating and drinking coffee whenever I felt like it. Like going into the office is providing such a big change of like structure and schedule to my life. And as someone who I didn't realize I thrived off of schedules, I really do. It's actually been really good for me, like mentally, productivity wise. Like I feel so accomplished at the end of the day because I've done my work and had stuff to do instead of like working from the couch all day and like that real separation. But I do miss being at home because I'm never home with my cat anymore. And I feel like Olive is just like having a really hard time adjusting to this new schedule. She's extra needy. I also am so busy now. So like my social life is purely in the evenings or weekends. So I'm just like go, go, go. And it's been really lovely. Like I feel like time's been going by really fast. But again, I just feel like I haven't had any downtime. Speaking of which, here she comes. This is Olive. She's been extra clingy, like I said. I mean, that's just what it is. I also caught a like head cold or something this week, so that's great because I had some big podcast stuff going on this weekend, and getting sick was not the best thing for me, but we powered through. I interviewed Riza. I always say her name wrong, and I'm so sorry. Her name is Riza. No, Riza. It's Risa. Anyway, she's a girl who went viral for knitting her own New York Liberty jersey, and I ended up collaborating with a New York Liberty network pub named Sadie's Ward. It's a bar in the Lower East Side, and they're super lovely, and the vibes are just amazing. We ended up spending like 8 hours there yesterday recording and had the best time. Yeah, so that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. Super excited for that. And I guess I've also been like really pushing the Liberty stuff on social media, and you're probably like, when did Jackie become a sports girly? Because if you know me, I've never been into sports, but I am like a WNBA fan now. And it all really started with Caitlin Clark, let's be honest. So a couple of years ago, I was visiting my friend Hannah in Tampa, and she's from Iowa, and she's a Hawks fan, and so we were watching Caitlin Clark, and at this point I'm like, okay, I saw a few games while I was with her for the week, and so I decided to like keep watching and seeing what was the hype. And then she went to Indiana Fever, and so last season I like went to a game and watched, had fun. This year I went to a game again, just see Caitlin, and then I ended up like actually paying attention to the game and really enjoying it, and have been going back like so often. I took my friend Erica for her birthday to a game, trying to convert her to be a basketball girly, and I met Tracy and Cheryl. Y'all have heard me talk about them on the podcast. They're this amazing older lesbian couple. They're like, obviously same gender, but it's an interracial couple. There's an age gap. There's just like, their stories beautiful and inspiring, and I got to meet them and I got to see them again. So I've seen them twice now, and they're just so cute and lovely in person. And so that's another big thing that like has driven me to women's basketball. And so now I'm like full on Liberty fan. I'm looking at getting season tickets for next year, and now I have Riza as a friend and someone that I can talk to about basketball. And I even got a Liberty tattoo. I know, what? I'm not going to show y'all on this podcast because the bandage is still on, but I actually got it at Sadie's Ward on Friday because they were having like a Liberty watch party. And so yes, I was actually there on Friday and Saturday this weekend. But anyway, so I got the Liberty torch tattooed on my arm, and yeah, so I am officially a part of like the diehard fans, I guess. Yeah. Also, peep the hat. It says traumatized. I got it in Astoria at Open Streets. It was there and I was like, I have to get it. Another thing that I've been up to, if you're watching this, you see that I'm like playing with something. I'm shuffling tarot cards. I went to Montauk with Katie a few weeks ago actually, and I saw these tarot cards and I was like, I want them. And I never really like have paid attention to tarot or like any spiritual stuff. So, but anyway, I'm in like my like spiritual girly era. What else is going on? I started reading again. I am reading Jodi Picoult's Storyteller, or the Storyteller. Fun fact, Jodi Picoult is the first author I started reading way back when, like in high school. She is the author of My Sister's Keeper. That was like one of my favorite books and movies growing up. And I've had this book forever. Like I got it at a used bookstore when I first moved here like 3 years ago from Westsider in New York, if you're from the area. And I just randomly finally decided to try and read it, and it's been my read on the train, and I'm actually like really enjoying it. It's about a baker that makes friends with like this elder guy, and he has some hefty trauma. He turns out to be a Nazi. But anyway, yeah, if y'all like Jodi Picoult and weird storylines, she's amazing. I like that her books are typically like each chapter is a different point of view. And I love that because it gives you the full, it's almost like watching a movie because you get to see what everyone's thinking and like, you know, I don't know. I really enjoy that. Also, because I was going to interview Reza this weekend, this weekend, I got new mics. You'll see the mic I'm wearing is like a little clip-on. And guess what? I didn't test them before we recorded, and turns out they were not actually on or paired, so they weren't recording the entire time. Thank God. I was also recording on 2 different cameras, so I have like 2 audio files from the cameras themselves, but not with like external mics. So bear with me. It's gonna be a really good episode. We were like on site at a bar drinking coffee together. Super cute, great conversation, but yeah, the audio is not going to be like as crisp as hopefully this one's going to be, and I do apologize for that. That's just the perks of being a first-time podcaster and learning equipment and recording and audio and cameras and all that stuff. Like, it's not for the weak. I literally low-key crashed out last night because I looked at the files and there was no separate audio file, and I was like, oh, that was my fault. Yeah. Also, actually, next week, Selena's coming along. If you're from LaGrange, you know Selena from Bertha's. Or if you don't know her, she's a childhood friend that I grew up with. We literally grew up in the trailer parks together. She's been in my life my entire life. And she is a small business owner and an influencer. I know she doesn't really like calling herself that, but she really is. So her episode is coming out next week. And we talked so long, guys, that we're gonna break it up and do a two-parter. So you're gonna have 2 weeks back to back of Selena, because we just talked about so much. There's just a lot of storytelling, there's a lot of history in there, and just girls chatting. And they're great episodes. I think they're great insight to who we both are and our stories, and just like girls hyping each other up, which is so sweet. But it will be a two-parter. So it'll be Selena part 2, and then you guys will finally get Riza's, and that hopefully will be like right at the time of Liberty being in the playoffs. So we'll be definitely talking a lot of basketball coming up. Yeah, that's all I have booked right now, but a lot more to come. And let's see what else. I do think I already told y'all, like, from someone who was very lucky to work remotely and have the benefit of it, I also do see the benefit of working in person, because as someone who is very like ADHD and has squirrel mentality, like I literally just get so distracted easily. Being in the office is a good place for me to be, and I hate to admit that, because I know there was a lot of like controversy between like people being able to work at home versus in office, and I think it really just depends on the person. I truly believe it like depends on your personality and who you are, as to what works. What else am I gonna tell y'all? We are going to draw some cards and see what tarot has to say for us today while I figure out what else I want to tell y'all. 10 of coins. What else? This whole just chatting thing is insane. I got some honey at the farmer's market. It's like a lavender infused honey. It's my favorite. I've been loving coffee. Also, one of the questions I got was, is it fall yet? Yes, it's September. It's fall. I don't care that fall doesn't officially start till September 20 something. I think it's already fall, though it was hot this weekend. Best and worst things about New York was another thing I got asked. I think Effie asked that question on Instagram. I would say I love that New York is a very like free place. You don't have to worry about what you look like, what you're wearing, how you're acting. Like, people just mind their business, and like people of all lives and walks and shapes and colors and like money status, like it's everyone's on the same sidewalks and trains, and it just doesn't matter. So I love the hodgepodge of cultures and personalities, and how it's really freeing. It's really freeing to be able to like just be yourself in a place that is so big and nobody cares what you're doing. I really think that's my favorite thing. It's been the best thing for me, being able to like find myself and really build myself to who I want to be, because nobody's paying attention to me here. Whereas I think back home specifically, or you're constantly being perceived and judged by what you're doing and what you're not doing and how you're doing. Yeah, so I would say that's my favorite thing about New York. My least favorite thing about New York would be, I don't even know. Subways in the summer. Subways in the summer are hot and sweaty and gross and smelly. I don't know if I said smelly already, but they sure as hell are smelly. That's my favorite and my least favorite thing about New York. I already had a pumpkin spice latte this week. Yeah. Y'all, what else? I haven't been to any Broadway shows lately. I've just been like podcast, work, basketball. that's really been my life lately. The thing that came up the other day was that Tracy and Cheryl were talking about this actually, and it's so relevant how you sometimes think that you're excused or you're the exception when it comes to racism or any kind of injustice because you are smart, you're an educated person, the way you carry yourself, or maybe like money you have, whatever, you might be of a higher status in on paper, like if you're looking at just those types of things. But at the end of the day, like if you're still a person of color, that is still going to make you a target for racial injustice and just like being targeted for it. Like nobody is exempt from racism and colorism and all that stuff. And I was thinking about that a lot because I was like, oh my God, you're so, like, they were so right talking about it. And I was talking to a friend recently and they were telling me about how because they're a single mom and trying to find an apartment in the city, it's hard because they're perceived as, one, they're a single woman and a woman of color, so they're already being like, oh, you don't have the money, or like you don't have the security to be able to afford this apartment. And yet she's a highly educated girl, like she is working on her PhD and knows a lot about real estate and just like laws and like all this stuff, and she is still being like discriminated against because of how she looks, the color of her skin, because the way she talks. And yeah, and it just blows my mind that that is still a reality. And I thought I was exempt from it, and I think it was because I myself was so blinded to the fact that that was my community, and trying to like separate myself from it, that I didn't realize there's a lot of comments where people would be like, oh yeah, but you don't count because you're one of us, or like, oh yeah, not you, but the other Mexicans, and things like that. And it's just like, as much as you are accepted, you are still excluded by that little point of like, oh, but not you. But like, why not me? Why do I get the benefit of being accepted whenever the next person has literally all the same qualities, but just because you don't know them, they're immediately exempt from, or they're immediately a target or someone who warrants being racially profiled or whatever. I don't know. That's something that's been like coming up recently a lot in my mind. I decided I was going to pull 5 cards, by the way. If you're watching this, is why I'm still playing with the cards, because nothing is popping out. What else? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I already have 5 cards. Okay, so let's see what cards I pulled. We're going to do my tarot card reading while we're here. I do have to look at the cheat sheet because I don't know what the cards mean yet. Okay, so first card I pulled is the 10 of Coins. Here it is. Okay. Ooh, 10 of Coins, giving us wealth, security, prosperity, gain, height of security, family matters, posterity, achievement, generosity, family, home, lodging. Okay, so maybe some kind of domestic economics, savings, pension, sustainable loss, gambling. Okay. So we're going to interpret this one as financial gain, wealth, stability, and money, which is great. 6 of Coins is the next one I got. Let's see. Good financial trend, on the up and up. Caring acts, generosity, charity, benefactor, paying attention, being vigilant, desire, illusion. Okay. So again, financial stability. So we got some good stuff coming our way, guys. I also got the World reverse, though, so let's see what that one is. Long journey, perfection, completion, conclusion, reward, prize, the universe, including the 4 seasons, the material world, supported by divine imagination, power through intelligence and wisdom. Okay. But it's reversed. I'm thinking it means the opposite, right? I don't actually know. But I'm thinking it, to me, that means that it's going to be a shorter journey because it's reversed. So it's like the opposite, like flip side. Kind of imperfect because it's right ways would be perfection, completion, conclusion. So maybe there's still going to be some like questions. I don't know. Two of Wands is the next one, and that was upright. Also, I'm getting more nasally. Two of Wands, individual success versus codependency, restlessness, boredom, dissatisfaction with current lot, seeking greener pastures, restraint, getting needs met, temporary need for independence to stay or go. All right. So be individual is what I'm getting out of that. I am very much always living my individual life. So we love to see that being a strength, right? And then the last card I got was the Seven of Cups. Nothing as it first appears. Fantasies, pipe dreams, unrealistic expectations, illusions, distorted reflections, corruption, desire, premeditation, plan, determination, resolution, courage to move into real experiences. Oh. Okay, that one, it's not always as it first appears. Okay, so fantasies, pipe dreams, unrealistic expectations, illusions. I am always a little delulu, so maybe that's what that means. I don't know. We're working on our tarot reading, guys, okay? That was just a little fun, but maybe one of those cards speaks to you. I don't know. Come back when I'm better at reading cards, okay? What else you got? I got a different tattoo. I got a Kermit sipping tea. I'm not going to show you that one either because it's on my arm and I can't pull my sweatshirt that far up, but I got Kermit the Frog sipping tea with Raina. If you know me from home, then you know Raina, but she was up here for my birthday, and so we got a matching tattoo of Kermit sipping tea because we love a little cheesemint, and I thought it was perfect. And it's actually really hilarious because right where it sits on my arm, when I'm wearing short sleeves at work, it's just me on camera and then Kermit sipping tea, and it's honestly the cutest thing ever. I love it. Speaking about tattoos, my friend asked me the other day if I thought tattoos were a way of expressing your own identities and like labeling and kind of like not pushing, announcing your identities, kind of like, hey, almost like a brand. And I thought that was interesting because historically, I think indigenous tribes did use tattoos as a way of showing their devotion or like that they were a part of a specific tribe. And now tattoos are not necessarily that. I think for some people they are, but for me personally, they have been more, they're personal, they're for myself, they're not for anybody else. I'm not getting them as a label or like to show people like, oh, you see my Liberty torch and you're like, that's Liberty fan. It was more of like a sticker for myself because I love the Liberty and it's been such a fun time. Same with like Kermit. I think it's just a funny, cute sticker to have on my arm. But then there's other ones that are obviously meaningful. Like I have One Day on the inside of my arm because Cesar used to always say that. My cousin, he passed away back in like 2022 of leukemia, and he always would say one day for like everything that he wanted to do. He had so many hopes and dreams, and his thought was like, oh yeah, one day I'll do that, like one day. And so I got it tattooed and I got to show it to him, and it's just like a really sweet reminder for myself anytime I see it that I like live for him a lot of the times. Like if I want to take a chance on something or I want to be silly and have fun, or like, he was such a jokester, and so a lot of the times, like, whenever I get this feeling that I want to do something fun and, like, silly, I let myself do it because I almost feel like it's him coming through and wanting to just bring a little bit, like, child energy and joy into my life. And that's just, like, in anything that I want to do, I always, like, remember that one day I can do it, but also that I should do it now because one day may never come. And I have other, like, I have a flower tattoo for my mom because I love my mom, and her name's Rosa and loves roses, and I like lavender, and so it's like a bundle of, like, a rose and lavender that I got for her. I got my cat tattooed on me. I love Olive. Again, they're not really, like, associated with my identities, but I am curious to know, anybody else that has tattoos, do you think about it as a way of expressing yourself, or is it for yourself? Like, I'm really curious as to, like, what people's thought processes are on that, because also I'm a person who will, like, just wake up one day and be like, I want a tattoo, and I'll go get it. I'm not someone who really sits and, like, plans one out. I've designed some of my tattoos, but I haven't really, like, and that was, like, same day thought. It, again, like, idea, but it wasn't something that I, like, personally curated, thought about it, wanted it for a while before I got it. I have a wolf pack on my arm. It's actually one of my favorite tattoos, and I get a lot of compliments on it, and it's just me and my brothers is what that means. But again, it's not really, like, if you see it, like, you're not gonna think anything specific about it, It's just curious as to what other people think about tattoos. You know what else I've noticed is that a lot of the listeners here have, and no, I'm not calling you guys out, but I'm just saying, looking at statistics, there's some closed-minded people out there who drop off when we start having serious conversations, and it's okay. It's okay, but that's the whole point to the podcast. Like, I want us to have uncomfortable conversations and talk about the identities and things that build us and make us who we are, because I do think that through knowing people and learning about their experiences, we become more empathetic and understanding about the struggles that others go through. Like, if I never talked to a single mother, and the struggles that they go through, I would not know anything about that life, because I'm not a single mom, and I don't know anything about maternal mortality and all these, they're not things that impact me personally and directly. So I would not know about things unless I talked to someone in those shoes and listened. A lot of the times it's really not about, like, speaking about it. It's really listening and taking in what people have to say. Same with, like, I interviewed Megan the other day, and she has such a crazy story. And if you listen to that podcast, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to it, and go find Meg on TikTok, because she really talks about all her experiences, and the girl's been through a roller coaster and just has still such a light to her. But my whole point to that is, you don't know what people are going through. You never know what people are going through. They may seem the happiest or the kindest people, and guess what? Usually those people are the ones that have been through some shit. It's the truth. That actually, I was texting one of my friends, I was like, oh my God, Meg is such a light. I love her. I loved her energy. I loved interviewing her. It was one of my, like, favorite interviews I got to sit down and do. And I felt so, like, energized after talking to her, because I just, like, really enjoyed chatting with her. And my friend was like, it's always the people that have been through the most that have that effect on others. And that just kind of stuck to me, because it's like, that's true. That's so true. Everyone that I think like brings so much joy to other people's lives have gone through some big hardship and are the people that deserve the world, and sadly are kind of the ones that get the craziest curveballs sent to them, you know? So I do think that it's very important to talk to others, learn about them, and be able to like build off of other people's experiences, because there's only so much time we have on this earth, and there's only so many cards that we get dealt. But at the end of the day, like there's so many different things happening, and all we can do is try to be more empathetic and understanding with each other. And that's the whole purpose to this podcast, honestly. I love getting to talk to people, and I love meeting new people, and giving people a platform to get to talk about their experience. But it also, it's a hard avenue to puncture. It's such a hard avenue because there's so many different identities and labels, and not everyone's open to listening and just literally hearing someone's story. And there's a lot of stories that people aren't really ready and open to talk about, and that's fine too. But anyway, all that to say is I picked a hard avenue to go down with this podcast, and it is it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I love what I'm doing. It's not easy, aside from technical issues and the time and everything that I have to like do and plan and organize and get help from people. Like I literally flew Katie in a couple days early so that she could help me record Rizza's episode, because we were doing it on site, and I've never done on site recording. I have my camera, but I've never like really recorded on it. Katie's a photographer. She's not a videographer, but she was the closest thing I could get to a videographer without paying an arm and a leg. And she was already planning to come up anyway. Like she had plans, a flight coming up to New York anyway. So I just had her like change it to a few days earlier, and we figured it out. We literally spent 8 hours, guys, at Sydney's ward, and we got there early. So we set up before they opened the bar, and then we drank coffee, did the podcast, and then we like hung out, and I got to just like meet Riza for really, oh my god, actually, let me tell y'all about how I met her. I was at the basketball game. I think yeah, I went to see Liberty versus Connecticut, and I met Tracy and Cheryl there, and got to like chat with them and stuff, which was super sweet. And then on my way home, I see this girl walking, and she has like a knitted vest on. I was like, I know her from TikTok. And so I walked up to her, said hello, and we like talked on the platform while we waited for our trains. And then a couple days later was like, I'm gonna message her because I'd love to interview her. I like messaged her. I was like, hey, it's the girl I like talked to you at the platform, whatever. So anyways, we started messaging about the podcast, and I didn't hear from, I didn't like, she said yes and whatever, but I never got like the actual submission for her identities and all that stuff. I'm never on the Upper East Side. I live on the Upper West Side, and so that's across the park. It's not easy for me to get to. I'm never over there. And I was there on a Sunday with a couple of friends, and we get on the train. I look over, and there's Reza knitting on the train. And I was like, I have to go say hi. Again, like, I feel like a stalker because I'm like, I swear this is coincidental. I'm not just like following you around, trying to get you on the podcast, but also like, what are you doing here, girl? So I walked over and was just like, hey. It was so funny that it was like so random that I ran into her. And then, so yeah, she was just like, oh my God, like, knew exactly who I was. She's like, I'm going to respond. I've just been really busy, blah, blah, blah. And then we got to do the podcast this weekend. But I just thought, I think it's so funny that in such a huge city, like there's 8.4 million people in New York City. I don't think it's random that I ran into her at Barclays because she's a Liberty fan. We were there for a Liberty game. That's not crazy. Running into each other on the same train on the Upper East Side, like on a random Sunday. Crazy. Crazy. What else? I really think the rest of this is just me rambling. It's a short video catching up. So this week, so this episode comes out on Tuesday. I'm going to the last Liberty home game of the season before playoffs. And what else am I doing this week? I think that might be the only thing I have going on after work. That's a lie. I'm gonna go see Practical Magic, a little girls' night movie night with my friend Erica and her group of friends that I met at her birthday, so that'll be fun. Okay, so I've come to realize that I think I'm the chaos in people's lives. I didn't realize I was, but my friend Effie, her husband, calls me the chaos goblin, or something like that, because I'm just always like bouncing off the walls and we think I'm a little gremlin. I am still perpetually late to everything, and the friends that I've made are usually very punctual friends, and so they have had to learn to be a little bit more loosey-goosey with their time when it comes to me, and I'm also learning to be more like strict with my time, or punctual. So it's a great offset, right? It's a balance, and I think that I do think I'm the one that brings the chaos to the group of people that I'm friends with, and I think that's like really crazy because I never thought of myself like that. But recently, it's been brought to my attention that I might be the Energizer Bunny, and that it might take a special kind of person to be able to handle me romantically, because I didn't think I was go, but I can be, and I am very much a like yes woman. Like if you say let's go skydiving, I'm like sure, great, let's go right now, no questions asked. And I also am that person that will be the one being like, hey, let's go. And I want people to be able to like come along with me, and I pull that out of my friends. A lot of them are a little bit shyer, and so I like pull them out while they pull me back in, and they're like, okay, you need to chill. It's come to my realization that I think the best type of partner for me is going to be someone who needs to be pulled out and is okay with being pulled into doing stuff, but is also okay on being like, hey, let's pump the brakes and chill for a second and have some downtime. Yeah, so if you know of anybody who wants to come out of their shell and is a very much a yes woman or man, and wants someone to do stuff with and be encouraged to do more, but it's also like vocal and okay with saying what they want, I guess, and pushing back. That's the thing. I need someone who's able to push me back and be like, yo, we're done. This is enough. Anyways, this is my formal announcement that the partner I'm looking for is someone who is a little bit of a like an introverted extrovert. Yeah. Because I think I'm the verse. I'm an extroverted introvert, and I need an introverted no. I don't know. I need whatever the opposite is of my energy, but also a nice balance, you know? I don't think I'm chaotic. I really don't, but apparently I am. I don't know. I've been rambling for a while, so I think I'm gonna go take some cold medicine, hydrate, maybe read a little bit, and chill. Stay tuned. Like I said, we have Selena next week, two-parter, and then we have Reza just in time for the New York Liberty playoffs games. And yeah, stay tuned for some more fun stuff. There's definitely some fun stuff coming along for those episodes. So please like and subscribe, follow on all platforms, and I hope your coffee is delicious today. If you have a pumpkin spice latte or any fall drinks, please tag me in them. I want to see them, and I want to see that you guys are enjoying fall already with me. And I hope y'all have an amazing week. Bye.